Welcome to this demo of FormaCAD software. FormaCAD is a great alternative to AutoCAD, similar look and feel, as it offers a very friendly environment for professionals knowing how to use AutoCAD, but at very competitive price. Opening FormaCAD, the startup wizard is emerged with plenty of options. Firstly, we see the options Create and Select Drawing and also the list with the recent files. There are also 2D and 3D sample files in order you want to test the software. It contains also the links for our YouTube channel and our social media accounts. On the top of the screen, we find the Quick Access toolbar, with the most useful commands. The buttons of the Quick Access toolbar will be open and accessible regardless of which ribbon you have open. You can also customize this toolbar. Then, we see the ribbon area, with the tabs and the panels. Each tab, like Home, Edit etc., contains different panels and the panels contains tools and commands. To activate any command you just click on its icon. There are some hidden icons to some panels and it depends on the screen size. There are also the menus, in case a user prefers to work with the menu bar interface. The toolbars are also an option to work with. The user can also change their position if he wants with simple drag and drop. With right-click in the ribbon area, the user selects if he wants the menu bar to be displayed or not. In the same way, he can configure many other options like which menus, toolbars and tabs to be displayed, customizing in this way his own interface. From the option Customize User Interface, the user is able to make more sophisticated changes to the program interface, like editing the existing ribbon, menus, toolbars or even adding new commands, aliases etc. This is the drawing area, on which everything is actually drawn like in any CAD program. At the left, there is the Properties panel, where the characteristics of a selected entity are displayed and they can also be edited from there too. At the right, there is the Tool Palettes by default, that provides a combined method of accessing tools, as it consists of commonly used commands. In case it is not displayed in your program, from the tab view, you can activate Tool Palettes as also the BIM pane and the Selection Filter panel. From the same panel of View tab, you can activate and deactivate also the command bar and the status bar. The status bar provides quick access to some of the most commonly used drawing tools. You can toggle settings such as grid, snap, polar tracking, and object snap. You can also access additional settings for some of these tools by clicking their settings button, like the settings of snaps. In status bar, there is also the option Dynamic Input. In case it is activated, it displays the prompt box next to the cursor. After typing a command, with dynamic input, the commands are displayed and press enter. For example, let's run the command units in order to set the units of the drawing. There are of course many other settings in this window. To activate any command, you can also use the command alias, as it is called the shortcut of a command. For example, for the command settings that we just saw, the alias is ds and typing this, the settings command runs. You just type it and as you see it is typed in the command line. Of course, there are many settings as we said before, in each tab of this window, like the coordinate input, the settings regarding the display or the entity creation settings etc. Now, let's see how to design 2D entities with FormaCAD. You can design lines, circles, ellipses and polygons with the commands in the Draw panel, that you will find under the Home tab. You can hover over each tool to get tips on how to use each command and on the kind of tool you choose from the list, if there are more than one options to some commands. In this video we will present just some of the most popular commands and tools and with the default settings. Of course, in the Help tab, you can find the help file, but also the manual of the program with more detailed instructions for all the commands. Back to the Home tab and Draw panel, we select the command line. With click we give the first point a starting point and a second one to design the first segment. Then, you can either design consecutive segments continuing from the last node, until you press enter or the escape button to complete the command. With the command polyline, you are able to design linear and arc segments. In case you have enabled the prompt boxes, they are displayed while you are designing. To design a circle, you give the node of center of the circle and the radius. For a rectangle, you give 2 points, the first and the opposite corner. For a polygon, you set the number of the sides, the center and the radius. For designing an ellipse, you need just 3 points: the center, the radius of the first axis and the radius of the second axis. The procedure is so simple. Selecting all the entities, in the property panel you can check the entities that are selected in their properties. For example, I select the ellipse and in the property panel its properties are displayed. You can change any of them directly from the property panel, like the radius. Another way to edit the entity is from the grips. From the grips you can either mode an entity or change a dimension. The next group of commands that we will see is the one that belongs to the Modify panel. With this commands the user can easily edit any entity. He is able to move, copy, rotate, mirror, stretch the entities. In this presentation the most common edit commands will be briefly presented as they are known to most of the CAD users and they are also described in detail in the manual of the program. The first command is the Move command, where the user selects the entity, then selects the command Move and the program asks the base point and the point where the entity will be placed. In order to copy a command, the user selects the Copy command that works like the Move command, but the result is that a new entity is created, while the first remains as it was. In order to rotate an entity, after selecting the entity or the entities, the user should define the rotation angle. If the ortho mode is on, the rotation can be done only to the 4 directions. The next command in Modify panel is the Mirror command. Selecting the entity in the Mirror command, the user should define the mirror axis and pressing Enter the command is completed. The Trim command is very interesting. The trim is used to remove the objects, which meet the edges of other objects. It is used to remove extra lines or extra parts of an object. Selecting Trim and pressing Enter, the program select automatically all the entities, setting them as limits for the cut. Then the user should select either with click or with a window the entities that wants to be removed. At the end, any entity that remained can be deleted with the Erase command. You can also just select the entity and press the Delete button from the keyboard. Let's delete some entities and try to create a drawing using the commands that we have already seen. Then, we will see how to add dimensions, texts and how to print this drawing. Using the Trim command, we remove the internal segments and the shape now seems like a flower. Let's create a polygon. We give the number of the sides and the radius. The result is ready. Let's make a mirror to the vertical axis and again a mirror to the horizontal direction. We can add a rectangle. We can design it with any dimensions and from the grips we can adjust it to the dimensions that we want. Of course we can combine the using of grips with the snaps and all the other functions that we have already seen in this tutorial video. Let's add an arc on top of the rectangle to create a window. We select the arc command and giving the 3 points in the direction the arc is placed. We add some lines too and the window that we designed is ready. Now, let's add dimensions to our window. Selecting the command line or dimension, the program asks for the first and the second point. Then, we select the position in which the dimension will be placed. Let's add now a text to our drawing. Using the command text we can add any text. There are also options for the type of the font etc. like in any text editor. The added text can also be edited from the property panel. For example, we can change the text height or the color. Let's see now how this drawing can be printed. From the Home button select the command Print. In the window that emerges, select the printer and the size paper. Pressing Apply to Layout and Preview we can see the preview. Pressing Close, it returns to the previous windows for more settings. We can change the orientation of the drawing and again we press the Apply to Layout button in order to apply the changes. Pressing Preview the change is applied. Of course, we can define the print scale, selecting also the units. We select also the Center to Page option too, if we want so. Let's change again the scale and select exactly the part of the drawing that we want to be printed. We select the option window and from our model space we select the area that we prefer. In the preview we can see the result. Pressing Print, we see the result in PDF, because we have selected a PDF printer to our example. In case you want to come to more complex print outputs, Combining more drawings and parts of the same drawing, you can use the layouts. Going to the layout, firstly, we should define the paper size. With right-click, selecting the Page Setup Manager, you select the paper size. Then, typing MV and enter for making a viewport, you should select how many viewports you may need and in what order and orientation. Let's create just 2 viewports. One for the whole window and another for the details of the little flower. With double-click inside each viewport, we are able to make changes or edit entities. With double-click outside of the viewport, we are able to design independently to the layouts or to make changes to the shape of the viewports. To do so, we use the grips of the outline of the viewports. In a layout, you are also able to insert another drawing as block. For example, we can insert a label to our layout. Selecting the file that we want, we should specify the insertion point, the scale and the angle. After the insertion, of course, we are able to change the scale and the other characteristics from the property panel. We can continue with any other change that we want, and then, we can print the display of the layout independently. With right-click on a layout, there is the option Plot. We select this option and the result is displayed in the PDF, as we still have selected as Printer, a PDF printer. Of course, this was a presentation of elementary commands and functions of FormaCAD, showing that it is really AutoCAD-like interface and functions software. FormaCAD can work with big and demanding projects with great performance and, as you can see, with great speed. In fact, FormaCAD is a powerful and smart AutoCAD alternative that provides full DWG and IFC compatibility and outstanding 64-bit CAD performance. You can see more about the advanced features of FormaCAD in the rest of the videos of our playlist on our YouTube channel.